Hey everyone, J-Rod Plays here. Finally, we have some new content to make some videos on that's actually worthwhile. Normally, I make guide videos, of course, and I make videos on notable content, and we have a new exotic mission. It was supposed to be, quote unquote, the biggest exotic mission that they've ever made, and obviously I've got some thoughts on that, but that's going to be for another video. Today's video, you came here because you probably, like me, were dealing with some softlock issues on the final encounter, which is frustrating because you're trying to beat this encounter without dying, without having to die to start it over again. You're trying to do your solo flawless on your first run, and to be derailed by something like that is definitely frustrating for players that were in this situation. Now, the cadence of the fight, like normal, and the way that the mechanics work, is you clear one side, you open up the middle pillar. That's going to allow you to interfere with the signal that will then let you go to the other sides and then damage the boss's shield by shooting a little node that spawns on the boss once you've captured a plate. And you're supposed to do that right, left, and right again, or left, right, and left again, depending on how the fight starts. I don't know if it's set a certain way. I can't remember if it switched on me on the second one. I felt like it switched on me on the second run after having to clear the soft lock and beat the boss finally. And the issue that I think most players are going to have, because there's two major ones that I've identified in both of the runs that I did. I actually had to do three because of the second one, is that whenever you're getting ready to kill the boss and you're on its final two bars and it's doing its third teleport, that there is no plate. Like in the background, I'm going to show a picture of what it looks like of me capturing the plate, what it looks like me going up to the plate, for example. And this is what's supposed to happen whenever you do the first section and you push the boss into this final two bars. Then the minotaurs are going to spawn, and each time you kill a minotaur, the first two are going to drop the blue buff, which allows you to activate the teleporters, and the third one's going to drop you the second green buff, which allows you to build the bridge further so that you can get closer to the boss. Now, the way that you can identify the side in which the boss needs to be disrupted on or his shield needs to be broken on is there's a small little platform next to the boss on his left or right if you're looking at the boss, and that will tell you what side of the building that you need to build, and you need to get to the point where you build up a plate, and then you can stand on the plate, and then it'll pop the little triangle or kind of like a pyramid shape device on the outside of the shield that you can shoot to break the shield and then do damage to the boss further to either push him to another phase or to kill the boss. And again, the major issue here is you've gotten to that third part and you go up to the plate area and there's no plate. It's not glowing. It doesn't look like it's active. And so then you think, oh, maybe I'm on the wrong side. So you go back to the middle. You want to make sure that the disrupt doesn't still need to happen. You check that, nothing. Then you go back and you build the right side, nothing. And so the way to fix this is to pay attention to what side that little antenna is on the boss, whether it's the left or the right side, because that's a side that actually needs to have the plate disrupted. And the plate is actually technically active when you get on the side that you need to. If you build two in from the middle platform, if you look slightly to the right or left, there's two platforms that kind of allow you to build the platform where the actual activation ring that you stand in is. You can actually go back into the teleporter as long as the shields are up, and that's kind of where you are in the phase when I usually soft lock, and you go and stand in the area that you're supposed to. Whenever that ring is normally there, even if it's invisible, it will still count down. And you can see me doing this in the background. I just happened to be standing there because I was running through to try and see if maybe I activate the closest pillar to the boss, that'll somehow kick something in. And that is how I was able to finally complete the encounter, was that I just stood in the ring and the ring started counting up, and then it acted like normal. It allowed me to capture the plate. It allowed the enemies to spawn in again, and then I had an additional area to shoot in order to knock his shield down, and then I could finally finish the boss. So that's the major soft lock that I think a lot of people are going to run into that you're looking at this video for. But there's one more to look out for, and that's if you don't do enough damage to the boss in the very first damage phase. If you happen to not get him far enough, whatever reason, the boss shields up again and disappears. And when that happens, you're going to end up with a phase where you're stuck with no plate and no minotaurs spawning that allow you to get the blue buffs and the final green buff that you'll need to activate the next plate. So you're just having to jump around trying to build the bridge and maybe hopefully build another bridge that allows you to have an empty plate that still does its thing and activates and then brings out the minotaurs. But at that point, that happened to me first because I was too busy, like on my second run, trying to look for different things that may have locked the encounter, and I didn't do enough damage like I normally would have. I didn't try to push him all the way to his final two bars, and since I didn't do that, the enemies didn't spawn that I needed to in order to get the blue buffs to activate the teleporters, so I was just kind of having to jump around on the inside without the teleporters because there was no red walls that instantly kill you. At that point, you can still jump freely from side to side. So that might fix the issue. You might just build left or right, depending on where you think the boss would have had that plate built. Still stand in the center of the ring and see if it counts up for you. And then, of course, if it doesn't end up counting up and you can't get those enemies to spawn that allow you to activate the teleporters, then you're screwed because you're not able to progress the fight. So hopefully that doesn't ruin somebody's flawless run as well. And hopefully this short video will allow you guys to say, oh, okay, I see him doing this thing. Let me go try it, rather than just giving up. Let me go back into that fight and then get this completed so that way you can get the story going. And man, I gotta have, I mean, again, I like try to be positive a lot with a lot of these things, or at least minimally neutral. But whenever Bungie hypes something up, especially like around like the final shape and stuff like that, they really did deliver on a lot of that hype. So I was kind of in a mode where I thought to myself, okay, you know, I know Destiny's kind of stale right now. There's not a lot of content. I can't make this video, or this video, or this video that I normally would make because there's really nothing going on. So great, let's get into this new content, and hopefully there's plenty of videos to be made, which there is, like, you know, where the chests are, secrets and stuff like that. I can definitely do those things, but it really kills your motivation to do those things when there's so many little issues going on in the actual mission, and the mission isn't exactly that long. It's not quote unquote the biggest thing. It's only takes a little while because you have to figure out, you know, where to go and things like that. And like I said, I'll get into that in my opinion of how they did it in another video. But other than that, if you have any additional questions, or if you have any other issues that have caused a soft log, please drop those down in the comments. That way we can check them out on Reddit and other places and do a little research and get that added to the video description and in the comments, and like a pinned comment for other people who may be coming to this video don't have these two issues that I identified, and we can get them squared away as well. So thanks very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.
Thunderous is doing more than commanding the Vex. She's taking control of an entire collective and using radiolaria to search the Vex simulation network. Our golden age, in her understanding, must exist within it.
And Shioma?
A means to an end. A way to measure reality. A heart weighed against a feather.
Could Maya find what she's looking for?
I don't know. That is not the question at the front of my mind. That question is only, what will happen if she does? Return to the helm, Guardian. I need time to think over what we found here.